So integration, I would say, is almost more important than doing the medicine journey yourself. You can work on integrating any high experience in your life, and you are going to get so much more out of it than simply the experience itself. I always say that if psychedelics were going to cure the world, they would have done so already. And the reason why I think that they haven't yet done it is because people are not integrating the work. So I love to remind myself that the word integration comes from the root of integrity. So integrating the work means, how do I live in integrity with that which I now know? And even though you might come out of a mushroom journey and not think you have any idea of what happened, over time, the integration process allows you to begin to pull out the threads of what happened for you, and then to look at how you can embed this in your lived experience on a daily level. Because as like out of the park you might feel after coming out of a journey, and you, in the immediacy, you think, oh gosh, like, this is life-changing, and I'm completely changed. And this is such a trope, and people often say they see this. Oh, my friend went for a mushroom journey or ayahuasca journey, and they came back and they're completely changed. They say they're completely changed, and 3 weeks later or a month later, I see them exactly the same. So what's the point? You know, I don't actually think that this is going to help me. And I always say integration, 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 because the default world is so strong that, as crazy as it sounds, it becomes really easy to almost put this peak experience in a suitcase under the bed and forget about it, and not really work on integrating it. So even if we take the core lessons from many psychedelic journeys, for example, the understanding that we are actually all connected, that we are all one, that we are all part of an interconnected web of consciousness. You know, and these are things that people are understanding or learning more and more, even through quantum physics. We understand this, but have we really integrated it into our lived experience? Very few people have, because that's a huge shift in behavior that's going to come about if you really look at integrating what that means, right? If I am completely connected to you, and everything that I do affects everything that you do, because we're part of this interconnected web of energy, which, like I say, quantum physics has proved to us already, then I'm not an individual operating completely independently. How does that then affect the way that I run my business, the way that I interact with my family, the way that I live my life? Like, these are big things to contemplate. And so the integration is where the profound work happens, because we're not here to be in a psychedelic state the whole time, you know. And many people get stuck on this this feeling of this peak experience, even though it can have dark parts and difficult parts, but they just want to come back for more. They want to come back for more. They want to learn more lessons. They want to learn more lessons. But the learning of the lesson is not just in the aha moment. It's how do I then input that aha into the daily life, you know? And that's where the hard work begins. I always say to people when they come out of ceremony, that was the easy part. Now is when the hard work begins, right? So I also really believe in the power of the arts in integration, because, as the Bushmen say, language is trickster. And so the way I understand integration is that it's two-pronged. There is a more kind of traditional in the West approach to integration, which involves journaling, involves recalling what happened, what you need to recall, involves one-on-one integration work with a therapist or with a coach. And there are amazing people who I work with that can help you to do that, and that is invaluable stuff. However, almost before that happens, or simultaneously to that happening, we also need to do the non-verbal integration, and that's where the arts become just the best way to do that. Drawing your journey, molding your journey from clay, dancing your journey, singing your journey, working in that liminal space, in that non-verbal symbolic space, to really not try and pin things down too soon, but allow more breath to come into that experience of your journey, more space and time to percolate, to allow more images and symbols to come, a more magical processing, which allows you to bring into the body that which you experienced in your ceremony more and more. And it's through that integration process that things that were hard or difficult or confusing can come